Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Mariam Shafiei. I'm Program Director for Master of Urban Design and Digital Environment, that we call it MADI, at American University in Dubai. Today I will be presenting my paper titled Advancing Urban Design Studio Pedagogy with Virtual Reality Integration, which basically reflects on some of my recent experiences teaching Urban Design Studio at the graduate level. The integration of virtual reality in architectural and urban design education is transforming studio pedagogy. This paper provides insights into how seamless VR integration across all design stages in studio classes can enhance students' spatial understanding, conceptual exploration, and project assessment in a graduate-level urban design course. Urban design pedagogy itself is a constantly evolving field that reflects wider shifts in epistemology, cognition, and methodology. As Yavuz Oscar in 2025 outlines, a theoretical foundation for urban design education can be understood through a triadic structure, including epistemological grounding, cognitive orientation, and methodological framing. Epistemologically, design education has moved beyond rationalist positive conceptions to embrace reflective and tacit knowledge practices. Grounded in Sean's theory of reflection in action, urban design studios are now more often conceived as spaces of interpretive inquiry and knowledge production, in which design reasoning unfolds through iterative reflection. Cognitively, urban design pedagogy favors abductive reasoning over deductive methods, where students are trained not simply to solve problems, but to frame and reframe them in response to evolving urban dynamics. Methodologically, the design studio has shifted from linear analysis synthesis models to more recursive adaptive strategies. This perspective is especially relevant in complex urban contexts where uncertainty, conflict, and transformation are inherent. The studio therefore becomes a site not only of knowledge application, but of knowledge generation through situated experimentation and reflexivity. Acknowledging and aligned with this literature and conceptual framework, the role of advanced technologies, in particular VR, which is the focus of this research, in shaping and reshaping urban pedagogy has yet to be further investigated. While extensive research has examined VR's role in enhancing design visualization and spatial analysis, much of the literature has focused on small-scale building projects or controlled environments. VR application in architecture are often confined to isolated projects where variables are more easily managed. Studies often demonstrate VR's immersive potential in architectural design, highlighting its ability to improve spatial understanding and collaboration. These studies also highlight how VR enables a stakeholder to engage with design concepts in more intuitive ways. Emerging studies in educational technology suggest that immersive environments like VR contribute to deeper learning experiences, allowing students to engage with complex spatial relationships in interactive manner. However, there is still limited research on how VR functions as a pedagogical tool in urban design studios, where projects deal with larger, more data-rich environments and require iterative design decision-making processes. This paper contends that the urban design studio offers a fertile ground to explore the capacity of virtual reality beyond its conventional role as a tool for visualization. Within the complexity of urban-scale interventions, VR emerges not merely as a representational medium, but as a generative and critical platform, enabling students to navigate layered urban datasets negotiate spatial strategies at the metropolitan scale, and engage in iterative reflection on urban form. In contrast to its use in small-scale architectural design exercises, urban design education calls for tools that can accommodate the fluidity of urban systems, support real-time spatial exploration, and foster iterative, situated forms of feedback that align with the evolving nature of the city. To evaluate the impact of virtual reality on urban design pedagogy, this study employed a mixed method approach, including survey, participant observation, and thematic analysis. 6 graduate students from a master-level urban design studio participated, each tasked with developing a neighborhood master plan for Dubai. VR was integrated at multiple stages of design process, including site analysis, case study exploration, iterative master planning, and final presentation. Surveys were conducted to gather quantitative data on students' perceptions of VR effectiveness in studio-based urban design education. The survey included Likert scale questions asserting VR's impact on spatial understanding, engagement with complex urban data, and its role in supporting iterative design. Responses were analyzed to quantify perceived improvements in design decision-making, ease of data integration, and overall comprehension of large-scale urban projects. Participant observation provided real-time insights into how students engaged with VR as a pedagogical tool. Observational notes captured the way students used VR for site exploration, spatial decision-making, and iterative refinement of urban form. Special attention was given to how VR influenced students' ability to assess human-scale relationship, refine pedestrian circulation, and test urban scenarios interactively. These notes were systematically coded to identify recurring patterns in behavior, preferences, and design outcomes. The students used VR in these main stages of their project, including site analysis, design development, final presentation, which later extended to VR presentation at 2 international exhibitions. Thematic analysis of observational and survey data was performed to extract core insights into VR pedagogical benefits. Recurring themes such as enhanced spatial comprehension, experiential learning through immersion, and real-time feedback in iterative design were identified. These themes provided a structured framework for discussing VR's advantages and potential limitations in an academic studio setting. The study shows that VR enhances spatial understanding, supports iterative design, facilitates complex data integration, and fosters a more engaged and interactive learning environment. These findings go along with existing literature like those presented in Radianti et al. 2020. The finding adds to the literature by highlighting how application of VR in urban design pedagogy expands beyond its traditional role in visualization as an active learning medium, moving towards reflective, exploratory, and projective model of urban design education. Surveys results indicates that 83% of participants found VR instrumental in grasping a spatial relationship, particularly regarding scale, proportions, and urban context. Observational data reinforces these findings as students frequently commented on how VR's immersive nature helped them comprehend urban space more effectively than traditional 2D drawings or even 3D models. By simulating real-world environments, VR encouraged students to engage in active learning, shifting away from passive design methods towards exploratory and experiential design processes. Survey responses also highlighted VR's effectiveness in facilitating iterative design. 67% of students stated that VR allowed them to identify design flaws more easily compared to traditional methods. VR enabled real-time visualization of modifications, offering immediate feedback on spatial adjustments. This iterative capability proved especially beneficial in refining pedestrian circulation, urban massing, and human-scale interactions. Observational data revealed that students frequently toggled between design iterations within VR, testing different spatial configurations and evaluating their impact dynamically. This aligns with architectural pedagogy research, which emphasizes the role of digital tools in supporting design iteration and critical reflection, but this time in much more larger scale with more complexity. The research findings also showcases VR's ability to integrate complex urban data sets as another key pedagogical advantage. The students used VR to overlay various data layers, including transportation network, environmental conditions, and land use patterns, allowing for a more holistic understanding of urban dynamics. Observations showed that students could seamlessly switch between data sets, analyzing how different urban factors influenced their design in real time. However, scalability remains a challenge. Large urban datasets sometimes caused systems slowdowns, affecting real-time analysis. Future integration of cloud-based VR solutions or optimized datasets data processing methods could mitigate these limitations and enhance VR scalability in urban education. Beyond individual learning benefits, VR also demonstrated potential for fostering students' collaboration and stakeholder engagement at urban-level projects. Survey results indicate that 78% of participants found VR useful in explaining their design concepts to instructors, peers, and external reviewers, as well as visitors in national and international exhibitions. VR supported collaborative learning by allowing students to co-experience designs in the same virtual space, facilitating peer review and critique sessions in a more immersive and interactive manner. It is particularly important given the complex nature of projects at larger urban scale. Along with these findings, the study also identified several limitations on using VR in pedagogy at urban scale, including hardware and performance constraints. Large-scale urban projects cause performance issues, limiting real-time design exploration. Another issue was technical learning curve. Some students found VR interfaces complex, requiring additional time to learn how to navigate and manipulate models effectively. Another issue that was identified was related to software integration issues. Compatibility between VR tools and existing design software such as some Rhino plugins and GIS data was inconsistent and sometimes created workflow inefficiencies. The study itself also is limited because of the small sample size, limited to 6 students, which presents constraints on the generalizability of the findings. Future research should incorporate larger and more diverse cohort, including professionals in urban design practice, to further validate these findings. Also, while participant observation and thematic analysis provided valuable qualitative data, further future studies could integrate objective performance metrics such as design revision frequency, accuracy in spatial assessments, or task completion times to complement students' self-reported experiences and provide a more comprehensive evaluation of VR pedagogical impact. Despite all these limitations, to conclude, this study demonstrates how integrating virtual reality across all phases of graduate urban design studio can reshape the pedagogical landscape by embedding experiential, reflective, and iterative learning directly into the design process. Drawing on the triadic framework of epistemological, cognitive, and methodological grounding that was presented at the beginning of the presentation, VR emerges not merely as a visualization tool, but as an active pedagogical medium, facilitating immersive spatial comprehension, iterative prototyping, and real-time emergent engagement with complex urban data. By extending VR's application to urban-scale master planning, this work bridges a critical gap in urban design education, underscoring need for responsive technology-enabled studio environments. While technical challenges remain, the findings point towards a future where urban design pedagogy is increasingly dynamic, inclusive, and attuned to the shifting demands of urban complexity. Thank you very much for your attention to this presentation. Before I close, I would like to acknowledge financial support from the American University in Dubai, specifically the School of Architecture, Art and Design. This support made it possible for me to participate in this conference and share this work. My special thanks also go to the students of Master of Urban Design and Digital Environment at AUD, whose engagement and reflections were central to this study. And of course, I appreciate the support of the Center for Research, Innovation and Design, CREED, at AUD, where we had access to the tools and equipment that brought this work to the life. Thank you very much.